How's it going, everybody? It's me, Arctic. Today's video we're going to be talking about how Shenhe can actually be used with Eula. I'm basically going to be covering Shenhe's abilities that actually benefit Eula, and then I'm also going to be covering the general team comp I would actually recommend if you are planning on using Eula as a main DPS with Shenhe as a support in your team. But if you are new to the channel, remember to subscribe. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. It really helps me out a lot if you do. But anyway, let's get back to the video. So first up, we're going to cover what Shenhe actually brings to the table in terms of a Eula support. The first thing that's the most obvious is actually that her elemental burst is actually going to decrease the physical and also cryo resistance of opponents that it hits by 15% if you have that at talent level 10. Now 15% isn't too much, however she does actually have a few other things that benefit Eula in terms of actual DPS that you're going to be getting. But 15% physical resistance shred is actually going to be pretty decent. Icy Quill stacks from Shenhe are only really going to be actually used on Eula's actual E skill. Whenever you press that in its tap form or its hold form, that's going to basically consume one of those stacks, so you're not really going to be able to consume all of the stacks from Shenhe for your Eula. However, you still can potentially consume those stacks. The main reason that Shenhe's E is going to be able to support Eula is because of her second ascension passive, which whenever you do the tap skill on this, it's going to increase your elemental skill and elemental burst damage by 15%, which if you are planning on using Eula's burst, you can basically pop a Shenhe elemental skill before that, and it's going to give that 15% more damage by the time that actually triggers. And if you actually use Shenhe's hold skill, it's also going to give 15% normal charged and plunging attack damage, which is going to factor in nicely with Eula's auto attacks as well. Another thing that she actually allows you to do is do like superconduct reactions. You're already able to do those with Eula anyway, so that's not as much of a factor. In terms of a team comp that I would recommend to use with Eula, I would basically recommend using Shenhe, basically stand in with Rosaria, Raiden Shogun, and Eula as your main three on here. You can basically cycle out whatever healer you want. Just Bennett works very nicely if you are planning on getting a lot of damage out of Raiden Shogun and Eula, because those two are going to be your main DPSs pretty much. But Shenhe's elemental burst cost does cost very high. Raiden Shogun actually being in this team comp is going to allow it to have a lot more burst uptime versus if you didn't have Raiden Shogun in this team comp. And now you could also replace like a Bennett or something with a Zhongli or something like that. You can go with like just a general like physical team comp build. In terms of Shenhe versus Rosaria as an actual teammate, I think that actual Shenhe is actually going to end up being better than Rosaria, just because Rosaria basically relies on that 20% actual resistance decrease with her Constellation 6, and Shenhe can do that at Constellation 0. And also, Shenhe does actually give you that extra like auto attack damage or elemental burst, elemental skill damage, which I think is going to make her a little bit slightly better than Rosaria. Now, in terms of general gameplay for Shenhe, I don't think that she's actually going to be used to her fullest in a team comp like this, really, because you're not going to be able to use Shenhe's Icy Quills to their maximum capability. So honestly, if you are planning on using her as mainly a support for Eula, going for more of an energy recharge and emblem 4-piece set for your Shenhe, and basically running her as a burst support versus an actual like E-spell damage dealer, because she's not really going to be able to consume those stacks with her party members, really. Let me know if I answered all of your questions, and if you have any more questions, I can answer them in the comments section below. But anyway, it's been me, Arctic. I will see you guys next time. Farewell.